Peace and blessings, Vibe Tribe. It is yours truly, Baka Jumbo and Amani Jumbo. We are EY Pele Movement. EY Pele Movement, we focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. Want to thank you all for tuning in. Greatly appreciate your love and support. Thank you for those who participate, those you comment, subscribe, share, like, and invite. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you for helping us to help others. That's what it's really all about. All right, family. We just had to check for a little technical difficulty notification that came up. So just wanted to make sure everything is going good. If you are out there, please let me know whether or not you can hear me on Facebook. I want to look into this real quick. Make sure everything is going good. That's the first time that ever happened, family. So we're going to keep the program going as planned. I do see it on there. All right. So we ready to rock and roll. All right. So on today, we're going to be talking about our ancestors are not dead. Our ancestors are not dead. Okay. Remember that the flesh is not eternal, but the spirit is, which means that our ancestors live on. All right. So we're going to touch bases on that on today because we and our ancestors, we are one. We're not separated. All right. We are one. That's why we say it's in our DNA. A lot of things that we do is passed on to us from our beloved ancestors. All right. So before we go any further with that, we're going to go on a very short commercial break. And after that, we'll be diving in. My queen, Amani Jumbo, is the instructor for the series Spiritual Decolonization. Make sure you hit that notification bell on YouTube and as well as on Facebook. Okay, so you can get this powerful content that we're going to be sharing with you that's going to help you to evolve. All right, so we are back, ready to rock. Queen, the mic is yours.
Hello. Thank you. I am definitely glad to be here with you again to present to you our ancestors are not dead. I want to give thanks. And I want to honor the ancestors, and I want to honor our benevolent ancestors today. So I got to have a little tribute to our benevolent ancestors.
Tapping the ancestral staff, calling the ancestors to bring the blessings. The ancestors say, you got a right, you got a right, you got a right to the key of life. You got a right, you got a right, you got a right to the key of life. You got a right, you got a right, you got a right to the key of life. You got a right, you got a right. You got a right to the key of life. You got a right to the key of life. You got a right to the key of life. I praise the creator of all existence. I give light to you, ancestors, so I am clearly directed down my destined path, leading me toward prosperity, abundance, progress, and evolution. Ancestors, you are special among the spirits. You have descendants who honor you and will not let you be forgotten. With you by my side, I overcome all challenges and obstacles. You bring the perfect opportunities, blessings, and solutions in the perfect way. We, your descendants, carry your dreams for the future. Watch over me, protect me, and guide me. Your love transcends the distance of time and space to meet me here in this place. The wisdom of my ancestors is always with me. Wisdom of the ancestors takes me higher, higher. Power of the ancestors makes me stronger, stronger. Still my heart and mind with perfect peace and resolve. I thank you for bringing the perfect solution in the perfect way at the perfect time for the best of all of us. Continue to bless my path and road and the paths and roads of those I love. May your wisdom bring all goodness and all prosperity to my home. Bless me with what I need so that I may be able to fulfill my earthly duties with ease and comfort and abundance overflowing. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your love. And thank you for your wisdom. Wisdom of the ancestors takes me higher, higher. Power of the ancestors makes me stronger, stronger. Within my DNA and spirit, I am the inheritor of your greatness, your legacy. Throughout eons of time until this day, you have watched over your descendants so that we inherit the best of you, to become the highest aspect of the divine within ourselves and our lives. Oh, great spirit family, since you are free of body and form, we know that you now have greater wisdom and greater power. May you continue to elevate to positions of greater ancestral power. May you continue to elevate to positions of greater strength in harmony with the divine, in harmony with the divine, in harmony with the divine.
All right, all right. Absolutely. I just wanted to pay homage to our ancestors because that's exactly, and those are who we're going to be speaking about today. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I also want to honor my king, and I want to thank you all for being with us today. And I also, and today is perfect. It's just a perfect day because we can say Happy Memorial Day. This is a special and divine occasion where this country has set aside a whole day to remember those that fought, those that have fallen, and those that are still with us in memory of the things that happened. And I would say that this is the perfect time to talk about the ancestors, those that have gone before us. Memorial Day was first recognized by free slaves who decorated the soldiers' graves earlier than this mainstream Memorial Day was celebrated. Those were free slaves and white missionaries that decorated the grave sites. This took place May 1st, 1865 in Charleston, South Carolina, where Confederates held captured Union soldiers during the last year of war. So these are our ancestors that are being remembered, those that fought for our freedom. So again, happy Memorial Day. So I'm just going to say our last session, we're going to do a two-part session. We've cut into time quite a bit, but we're going to do a two-part session on this, My Ancestors Are Not Dead. Last episode, number 5, we spoke, it was the Divine Consciousness Pathway to Ascension, Part 2. We went over some of the netters, the Neteru, and the deities of our ancestors to help get a better understanding of the principles, the concepts, and the correlations that they have to our current lives. We also talked about the Asar principle and the story concerning Asar, Haru, and Aset, and the fact about the cycles of life. Today we'll start episode 6, My Ancestors Are Not Dead, Part 1. We will be coming from a Twa, Kushite, Kemetic, Ancient Egypt, Igbo, Akan perspective. And listen, for thousands of years, every culture had a form of ancestral veneration. To this day, acknowledgement of their ancestors. Africa, Asia, India, Europe, North and South America, virtually every continent on the planet practice and continue to practice ancestral veneration till this day. Like I previously said, Catholicism and some Protestant recognize the saints. It's no different than us recognizing our ancestors. Today, we will be speaking about the sacredness of our ancestors and the colonizers' malicious plot to put a wedge between us. We will go over ancestor veneration and a few ritual practices. I also want to give you a brief overview for those that haven't been with us, a brief overview of our African spirituality, some of the things that we went over. And we said from our African spirituality, from our committed point of view and our Akan point of view, that we recognize, our ancestors recognize infinite God energy. They're monotheistic. We have an immortal soul and we are divine in nature. The soul is believed to be connected directly to the Creator. When a person dies, he goes to the ancestral realm. People who are not of good moral character will not be admitted into the ancestral realm. Our ancestors honored the sacred feminine and the ancestors. They were of good moral character, and they practiced Mayat. Good moral character and Mayat were the ticket to get into the ancestral realm. Our ancestors realized that this state is temporary, and we will return to our true home where we come from when our earth mission is complete. It is believed that the ancestors in the ancestral realm have the ability to intercede on our behalf, on the behalf of their kin. It is believed that the ancestors can fast track prayers to the Neteru or energies because they are in a realm closer to the divine or the Neter. Our ancestors venerated the ancestors that had gone before them. So I just wanted to go over that so that we were clear on that part. So I need to tell you a little bit about our ancestors. Ancestor spirits are those persons in the family, the community, race, or nation who have passed on and their physical bodies have transformed into another state of energy. This represents a spirit we can no longer see in our regular conscious lives. These ancestor spirits are energies that can be communicated with and can guide us to the truth by showing us Mayat in its truest form. And Mayat, there's principles of Mayat that our committed ancestors live by. They believe that if you live by this, that was a what we would call a holy life. Acknowledgement of the sacred ancestors are an integral part of the tradition of the Kemet spiritual culture. It represents Mayat by living the law of reciprocity by paying respect to those energies who were responsible for greatness, both theirs and ours. So our ancestors believed that, passionately believed that you must pay homage to your ancestors. It is also a method of honoring and giving praise to the great ones who have laid the foundation of life in which we follow. Some of the ways to honor the sacred ancestors are by calling their names, praying for, or to mention them mentally or out loud at a shrine or at a sacred location. We also pay homage and respect to our ancestors through maintenance and continuation of their work, ideas, land, and institution. This is the highest form of honor. As humans, descendants, we should recognize our ancestral spirits as vital parts of our spiritual growth and evolution as people. Tradition states that we start all our functions, small or large, by giving praise and honor, not to the Neter, which is God, but also, not just to the Neter, but also to our sacred ancestors, by simply thanking them for protection, understanding, and spiritual guidance. So that's why it's good that we start out our day giving thanks to the ancestors. That's why I try to start out, before I speak, by giving thanks to the ancestors for everything that they do, their spiritual guidance, watching over us, or what have you. And I just give thanks. Professor Baba Kameen, he's one of our teachers that we like to reference because he does a good body of work. Professor Baba Kameen says, Kaba Kameen, he says, our ancestors dwell within us. You walk with your ancestors. You eat with your ancestors. All you have to do is recognize them. They are talking to you all the time. This society has got you thinking that you're going crazy, but not so. They are no longer walking among us, but now that they are in the next realm, they cannot see with their eyes. They cannot smell with their nose. They do not have senses that we have, but they live through us. They see the world through our eyes and through our ears. They are in a realm that knows better on the spiritual level. So when you listen to your ancestors talking to you, they can tell you things you don't know. Then they can celebrate life through you. And that is so true. And ancestors, I tell you, they just want the best for you. I may be led to have a personal story with you about the ancestors that were in my life, some things that happened. But I'll get into with you later about the conflict that's happened with amongst, especially the Christian community, about ancestors and ancestor veneration amongst, some of the Christians. So this is a theologian that said they are very present with us. They're telling them that the ancestors are very present with us. They're not dead. They are ever near us, approving and disapproving all our actions. They chide us when we go wrong, bless us and sustain us for good deeds done, for kindness shown and strangers made to feel at home. They increase our store and punish our pride. And this is an African theologian that's trying to tell them, listen, we need our ancestors. And you can't take that away from us. So I had my own personal experience with the ancestors, not too long ago. And not too long ago, which started me to actually go gung-ho on this journey. My husband, he was already a part of doing his thing out here, really, really representing the African diaspora and getting to know other parts of the continent of Africa. He had his personal connections and things like that. And I myself, I was just, going along and stuff like that. But I was busy and I wasn't really doing as much as I knew I probably could have, maybe. And then one day I had a visitation, which caused me to get some fire in my feet in order to continue on. But I'll tell you that story another time. I just want to go back to the slide. If Mr. Bakari can put me back up. Thank you, sir. We do not worship ancestors. I just want to say this. Ancestors are recognized as those who are first line of appeal or support in our world. Our ancestors are viewed death as not ending our human relationship. So our relationship with the ancestor does not end after the ancestor passes away. Our relationship with our grandmother or whoever has gone on does not end. That's how our ancestors view. That's how we view them, that they're not gone. They sing 1,001 songs in church about going on to the other side. I got a mother over there. I got a father over there. You know what I'm saying? And I can't wait to get over there. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it would be harsh to just suddenly, abruptly just end that relationship. If you're saying that they don't die, they continue to live on, right? And if you are living, you see what I'm saying? I know they say there's a big gulf in between us that they can't hear us, but I beg to differ, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Rather, those who they transition and they enter the spirit world in which they are invisible. Ancestors remain close by as part of the family. Just as before death, they possess power to intervene in the affairs of the living. They are close to the nature, which is God or the divine, which enables them to communicate easily with both the family and the divine. Thus, they are considered intermediaries. These are the great intercessors. You see what I'm saying? It's no different than, you say, a grandparent and a grandchild in the same household, and the grandchild says, "Make my mama give me some candy." And the grandmother, the intercessor or the intermediary say, "Could you give him the candy?" You see what I'm saying? And that's what our ancestors, that's what our African, I say brothers and sisters, look at the ancestors as. This is what we look at our ancestors as. I'm going to say it like that. We look at them as intermediaries, those that they're in the realm of the divine, and they're closer to the divine, so they can make intercession for us. I heard him say that Jesus went up there to make intercession for us. That would mean that he's an ancestor. So we'll get back to that. Ancestors are integral to the African social structure. In a culture where tribe, clan, and family are the utmost important, ancestors are the most respected members of the family. To be cut off from the relationship of one's ancestor is to cease to be a whole person. Moreover, the ancestors sanction society's customs, norms, and ethics. And in some cases, without the African ancestors, the African is left without moral guidelines and motivations, and society is powerless to enforce those ethics. And I know a group of people, the colonizer, would love to sever that particular tie because they know that there's power in having a tie to the ancestors, right? They snatched everything else, right? They took everything, the language and everything. Now they're after your relationship with your ancestor. And I'm going to show that to you. Ancestors. Ifa priestess, Dr. Alia Kamari says in her book, Isheshe, The Ancestor Wisdom of Ifa Orisha Tradition, we do not worship ancestors. We continue our relationship with them in the invisible world. One of the greatest assaults in history on Africans in the diaspora is the severance of their ancestral families and relationships left in Africa, their homeland. The ancestors allows us to understand who we are, where we come from, and where we're going. We are closely connected to the ancestors because we were born in the same circle of life as them and born through the same channels of energy that they have created. We must live with the results of their actions when they were living, inherited mindsets. This is that DNA thing, predispositions and emotions that influence us and impact our destiny and the destiny of the family. We are often inherit to eating habits, biological tendencies, and even ancestral memory. This is how deep these ancestors are within us. This is where we get the intergenerational trauma, the PTSS, the post-traumatic slave syndrome. And previously I spoke about the epigenetics. This means that we have cellular memory from the ancestors from 14 to 16 generations. That means that 14 to 16 generations back and 14 to 16 generations forward. That means that your grandchildren, children, for about 16 generations are going to experience what you have done within this body, the trauma that you have felt, the things that you may have or have not corrected within your time span here. You see what I'm saying? Your generations to come are going to feel the effect of what you set up and what you have not set up, just like you may be feeling the effect of what your ancestors have done. See, now it is, 14 to 16 generations. I mean, we just got off the boat, some of us, a couple of generations ago. So 14 to 16 generations. We were that, say what, 14 times 25 years? I don't know how many years that is, but that's, my goodness. We were in the motherland. So just want to reiterate that we do not worship the ancestors, but we do pay homage to our ancestors. And this is what, according to Ifa, this is some ways that our ancestors influence our world. And Ifa says, or Dr. Ayala says, that they have the ability to see what we cannot see, such as ill intentions of someone towards us. They can lead us, lend us advice from their lifetime experiences. They can help us with family issues and crises. They can reverse negative trends and generational curses in the family, especially those that may have started with them. They can attract new opportunities for good fortune to us. They can help us tap unknown family gifts and resources. They can offer protection from potentially harmful situations. They have the ability to clear negativity. They can assist with the translation of loved ones leaving this world and the rites of passage to theirs. So it's very, very important to venerate, to keep constant contact with the ancestors. Now, I just want to talk briefly, about what the colonizers said about venerating your ancestors. And I got to admit, family, that I was quite upset after reading some of the things, and after I was doing, preparing myself for this presentation, and as some of the things that I saw that was being said about our ancestors and what Christian organizations were doing in order to prepare to sever the connection between the individual and their ancestors. The colonizers' main objective is to get rid of the ancestors in the Neteru by demonizing them. One of the missionaries' chief complaints is that they couldn't get rid of and still can't get rid of the Africans, or they can't stop the Africans from talking to the ancestors enough to focus on their God. The missionaries had a problem with this. They say they can't stop the Africans long enough to stop talking to their ancestors. They say that they'll tell them to stop talking and they'll go home and still talk to the ancestors. So this causes an issue with them. So now they're preaching a message that totally demonizes them about speaking with ancestors. Oh, you shouldn't speak with ancestors. You're going to hell. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be speaking with them. And then I come across some things and I'm like, oh, look it. What do we have here? Jesus was still on the earth and he was having a conversation with his ancestors. Does it not apply to him? Does it not apply to him? This was Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration, where he was having a conversation with Moses. He was talking to Moses because God told him a long time ago, Moses, my servant, is dead. He told him a long time ago that he was dead. And he's having a conversation with Moses and Elijah on the Mount of Transfiguration. What's wrong with this picture? Are we to talk to ancestors or not? So I began to think about this thing a little bit more. You understand what I'm saying? And it began to totally vex my spirit, honestly, because I see that in Christianity, and as a minister, I see where we invoke so many dead people inside of that ministry. Every time I turn around, we invoking Jabez. We talking about invoking David. Every time I turn around, we invoking all of these people that's supposed to be dead. We want this anointing from that one. We want this mantle. We want this and that. And all these dead people that we're invoking, that we're not supposed to be associating ourselves with people that have gone on. So if your ancestor is good enough, why is my ancestor not good enough to be invoked? You understand what I'm saying? What's the problem? These people that you're invoking, they had less than perfect lives. A lot of them had less than perfect lives, but you're still remembering St. Paul. You're still remembering all of the ones that you remember. You're still remembering, you're remembering on a daily basis. You see what I'm saying? There's something nefarious about the fact that you're trying to get a culture of people to be disconnected from their bloodline. There's something nefarious about you trying to disconnect them and make sure that they don't have a memory of the great ones that came before them. And let me tell you something. See, let me just tell you something. As I began to look, I found Father, it was a black guy, Father Nayami Midi, or whoever he is. He told him, he said, look, he said, we're in Africa. If y'all don't get yourselves together, come up with a way to include ancestor veneration inside of Christianity, these people are never going to fully commit to your God. So you know what they're doing now? Some of them, they're coming up this thing where they're telling them that Jesus is their ancestor, that he's the top ancestor. So my question to you is, should we venerate ancestors or not? because we're not bending, or because our ancestors or our brothers over in the motherland are not bending on something, now you're saying that we can do it. Just like you said we couldn't wear pants, and now we can wear pants. Just like you said we couldn't have our hair braided, but now we can braid it. Just like you said women couldn't preach, but now they're preaching. Just like you said thou shalt not kill, but you're killing up everybody. Can we or can we not? And from what I have come to the conclusion of is that you change your doctrine when you want to change your doctrine. You see what I'm saying? This is why when it comes to my ancestors, as I put on my post, if honoring my ancestors is wrong, I don't want to be right. If loving my ancestors is wrong, I don't want to be right. And so this particular father, he said, if y'all don't let these people honor their ancestors, you won't have any more Catholics down here over the way here. And but they say that Africa is the future of Christianity. So they're plotting to this day on how to get Africans to give up their customs and shame them into giving up their spiritual system. One way they are starting to put forth this lie is to tell them again that Jesus is the supreme ancestors. You know what I'm saying? And on the other side of town, they're telling them that they should give up their family and ancestors to follow Jesus in the Christian path. Ancestor veneration has been done for thousands of years. Many, many cultures and spiritual systems opposed to this. They've been doing it for a long time. And then this Johnny come lately Christian system comes and they opposes it. And they only oppose it because of control. They want to maintain control. All of those religions and spiritual systems were there thousands of years before or prior to Christianity. And from the bottom line of it, Christianity did what they did in order to control. There is an issue of control here. But they cannot deny the power of the ancestors. So man and woman, know thyself. Know thyself. And know thy ancestors, and can remain connected to the ancestors. And in my closing, I just want to say that I will never forget my ancestors. Like they say, I have a father over there, right? I have a father over there that I'll never forget. And the blood of my ancestors is running in my vein, and it's in my bone and in my marrow. And I call on my ancestors from the inside of me. I call on the strength of my father, the entrepreneur spirit. Somebody said that generational curses, but I call for the generational blessings that were promised to my ancestors. I call forth the abundance. I invoke the millionaire mindset that my ancestors have. I invoke the kindness and the love that flowed through every last one of them. I invoke the courage and the strength and the power that every last one of them had. So I just want to encourage you that it's all right to say hello to your ancestors. It's all right to say, I appreciate you. I appreciate that you've done what you've done. It's okay to take some time to remember. Never let them forget. It's some things that happen in their lives that they say never forget, but they want you to forget. Never forget. Thank you.
Phenomenal session, family. We just need to reconnect with who and what we are. The only thing we simply seek to do is to pull the cover off of those things so the cover can come off, if you get me, so we just want to reveal these truths so we can reconnect with who and what we are. Self-discovery is very important. When you connect with your culture, is more to it than you just finding out your actual ethnicity. Remember, your ethnicity actually connects you, to your spiritual system, because to each people, just like the Yoruba, you have Ifa, So when you're dealing with that, you know, it connects you to a spiritual system, all right, that will connect you to spirit. One thing about spirituality, as I always say, the root word is spirit. So just keep that in mind. You know, this is just simply to reconnect us with who and what we are so we can identify ourselves, so we can have our own identity. Okay, because I have not seen proof that someone else's culture works for us. I have yet to see that work for us. And it's because it's not our actual mind. So what we have to do is just reconnect with that, you know, and we'll find peace within ourselves if you follow, right? So thank you again so much for tuning in. My queen, of course, like always, phenomenal job. I myself personally, not just saying it because she's my wife. Okay, you know, I really do enjoy the presentations. Definitely very informative and thought provoking. All right. So even myself, when I listen, okay, I learn some things as well. So hopefully you are too. And if you are, okay, please again share with like-minded individuals, people that you know that will benefit from this content. Okay. We give thanks for those of you who have shared because some of you have. So we just want to thank you for helping us to help others. Okay. So remember, every Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, same station. We'll be here and every Thursday. Okay, same time. All right. So make sure you tune in. We have a wonderful program coming up this week. We have a licensed, okay, psychologist coming on. Okay, specifically African centered. Okay, Sister Jennifer Higgins will be coming on. Okay, on this week, and we're going to be talking about the importance of African-centered education. Okay, again, the importance of African-centered education. Listen, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be phenomenal. I always tell you, I bring qualified individuals on this platform, okay, to transmit information to you that will help to transform your life for the betterment of your life. Okay, so we're looking forward to seeing you all in the house on this week. Have a blessed rest of your evening, and may your week be the same.